Hi guys, my name is Stanley and I'm from RC Tank Legion. Today we're going to talk about our event, the RC Tank Biathlon, and how, if possible, you can make this happen for your country. We're trying to make this event a more international event, so let me explain to you what this event is all about and how you can make this happen in your country. Okay, so what is the RC Tank Biathlon event? First, I was the one who created this event back in early 2017. The first event was held at the back of my shop. We had an indoor RC tank battlefield built for this particular event. And it was a huge success because it was the first time that such an event was first held. It was a lot of trial and error. We initially, for the biathlon section, we used BBs to shoot at targets, but of course that proved to be quite inconsistent because, as you know, the RC Tanks BB have either they shoot okay, or they get stuck in the barrel, or they have all sorts of inconsistent issues, and then of course there is the safety issue as well. So what is the RC Tank Biathlon event exactly? It is a RC Tank event, 1/16 scale. It has 4 categories. The first category is the IR Biathlon, which is going through an obstacle course point A to point B while shooting at IR targets, and the best time wins. Simple as that. And of course there are penalties for making mistakes or hitting a target or missing a target yet on time. The time is at the moment we put 10 seconds. So every time you have a penalty, is add 10 seconds to your time, and the person with the faster time wins after adding up all these penalties. So this is IR Biathlon, and also this is also very similar to what biathlon originally came from, where people have to ski, and it's cross-country skiing, and while cross-country skiing through snow and long distances, uphill, downhill, you have to shoot at some targets with your rifle and then moving on. So tanks also have a biathlon. The Russians invented this. Our event, we have to shoot at targets, and the targets can be as many as 5 targets, or it can be as little as 2. It all depends on how many you want to put it out. And of course this all the targets are IR capable, means they must be able to receive the signal from the IR system to indicate the heat. Why we prefer IR targets versus BB targets? Because simpler. It's really simple. The IR targets are way more consistent. Okay, and if you hit, you know, there's no way to manipulate the system, and it's also a safety issue because shooting an IR LED is perfectly safe for the public. Also, with the IR targets, we have lights and everything now, so it's much more easier for the public to see, because we want to make this a very spectator-friendly sport. So moving on, the IR battle. The IR battle is the highlight of the RC Tank Biathlon event. The IR battle is played by 4 teams, divided by colors. It's played similar to the paintball speedball format. It is the best of 3, you switch sides, and then it's a round robin format. So basically what it does is that you can have 3 versus 3 tanks, or 4 versus 4, or whatever the number is. Basically you have an equal amount, the number of the tanks per team, and then you battle. And of course whoever gets to survive the round, you know, that will be the winner. And then you switch sides, and if you win that round, if the same team wins that round, they go on to the next match. Whereas if the other team wins, it's a 1-all draw, and it goes down to the 3rd match. The round robin format allows all the teams to battle with every other team. So you get Team A get to battle with B, C, and D. That way you get maximum playtime, you get maximum fun, because everybody wants to play a lot. And this format, I feel, with experience, has the most amount of playtime and fun factor, and also great for spectators as well. So for the beginners, we recommend using the Heng Long code, which is the most common one around the world, and also easiest to start with. So of course, if you have Tamiya tanks, you can play your Tamiya code. If you have Clark boards, you can play either Heng Long or Tamiya codes, whichever your club has more of. So for example, in Malaysia, we started out with Heng Long codes because that's the only, I would say this is the most popular code, because one or two guys will have Clark boards, but the rest of them are still Heng Long. So we all went along with playing with the Heng Long code, which is easier at that time. So if your country hasn't started IR battling, this is the easiest way to start. Just play with Heng Long code. You don't have to worry about different classes or different tanks have different this. It's easier to just play everybody's fair, easier to just justify, because if you have one tank that's faster or slower or this characteristic or that characteristic, honestly speaking, we're here to have good fun, and you don't have to overcomplicate things by putting the historical values to the game to it. It's nice, but I personally feel it takes fun out of it. So everybody's equal. Everybody's got either 5 lives, or if you play Tamiya code, medium tank, that's 6 lives. Everyone's fair. So we have 2 other categories to encourage the hobbyists to paint their tanks really well and take scale modeling to the next level. So we have best scale model category, and we look for not just the best paint job, but also the most realistic depiction of the tank in sense of weathering, painting, etc., and all the details that you would see in a scale model competition as well. And of course, to encourage engineering amongst our members and participants, we have the best engineer category. This is to encourage people to self-engineer things that you cannot buy off the shelf. A really good example of the best engineer award, for example, is those guys who built their own bridge layers. You know, those tanks with bridge layers, those can be categorized as very good engineering, because you cannot simply buy it. There's simply no components made for it. You actually have to make everything from scratch and figure everything out yourself. Hence, engineering. Okay guys, this ends today's episode on our topic today, which is RC Tank Biathlon. So stay tuned for the next episode, which is how to build IR targets for your biathlon events. And we'll go in depth on the details, on the nitty-gritty about what's inside. So if you have any comments, please feel free to write in the comments below. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.